Welcome back, and when we had last left off, we had created this routing mask over the plug for the roof mold, and here we are on the machine now, and actually running using the 1/4 inch acrylic bit and cutting into it just deep enough that it's getting through most of the layers of fiberglass, but not deep enough to actually cut into the plug itself. So what we're doing here is cutting the leading edge of where the windshield will be, the upper top edge of the roof basically. And here is it's actually cutting out the shape for the rear window on the right hand side. So there's a bunch of different places that are going to be cut out here, and that'll allow us to lay this mask over the actual roof part once it comes out of the mold, and we'll be able to run a router around these guide curves basically and trim that part to the right size. So again, making it quick and easy to do it without having any real difficulty, trying to make a straight line by hand. It's kind of difficult to try and do it with a machine, so the best solution is a routing mask. So in the meantime, today, guys, our ultra suede had arrived, so they're cutting out some pieces for that to lay on the window fixtures that needed to be finished off. And this again is just to provide a surface, so when we put the acrylic glass on there to be cut, it prevents any scratches from coming on the inside of the glass. And there you can see Keith just sort of dry fitting a piece into place there, and then we just put some adhesive glue on the back of it and then trim around it. So here is the routing mask, and again still on the plug, and we're just getting ready to remove it. So not too many problems getting that off. And here's Mark Mark and Devon are actually building a new rack for us, an additional rack, and this time out of steel, for putting all of our different fiberglass and carbon fiber and peel ply and those sorts of things on it, because we just didn't have enough space on the original one. And here's the window fixture. So this is the side window fixture. That's the right hand front window, and that's the right hand rear window, and with the ultra suede sort of in the process of being put on there. So that one's been basically glued on, just needs to be trimmed off around the edge. And here it is finished, and also with the that rubber sort of seal channel finished on all of them, because we'd only done a couple of them on Friday. So up and on the machine and ready to actually do what it was designed to do, even though we'd already tried it out on Friday. And first up was the right hand rear window, because we did the left hand one on Friday. And so it's basically the same thing as what we did on Friday, just running a pass on the back edge there, and then one more pass that went around the rest of the window, and no real problems there. And actually the bit was cutting fine, and we like to keep the air on there, just keeps the bit cool. If it gets too hot, it will lose its sharpness, so much better just to keep it cool while it's running on there. And so here it is doing the bottom, or the rest of the pass for that rear window. And again, just running the first pass about a 1/4 inch deep, and then the second pass comes back and does the last 1/4 inch to complete the cut. And while that was going on, we had the routing mask removed from the plug, and here's Zach actually completing the cuts. So all those were sort of gouged most of the way through, but not all the way through, so he's just got the reciprocating saw and he's completing the cut there. And then once those are done, we have some cuts that sort of join different pieces up and cut out like whole sections, and then ultimately with some sanding, but you'll see that shortly. And in the meantime, Devon's been preparing these plugs that make the door inserts, and these are the ones that are basically need to be finished now. Well, these inserts need to be laid up before we can lay up the roof, because those two doors inserts made up with the roof mold, and we lay up the roof and the door frames in one hit. So anyway, in the next couple of days we'll be creating the inserts for this. It's basically just sort of creating a mold, but it has some special stuff on it that you'll see later on. And next up on the machine, cutting the right hand front window. and didn't have any issues with the windows fitting on our fixture. So the guys up there in Ohio that did our glass for us did a great job. They fit beautifully on this fixture, which just lets us know that they've got the right shape. So again, if you've been watching from the start, you remember quite a long time back in February, I believe it was, when we laid up the molds for the windows and ultimately finished them off and sent them up to those guys. So anyway, they did a great job on the windows. Really happy with how they're coming out, and even more happy with how quickly we can cut them and get a professional finish on there. So here's the other side down. So that's the last of the windows now, all cut, and just blowing off the acrylic shavings on there before we actually take it off, and we just wrap it back in the protective plastic until we're ready to use that and just store it away. So here's Mark actually taking off the outside bit that was cut off, and you see they come out really nice. Looks pretty cool, that little fixture. Really like that. And here's our routing mask, and ignore that kind of curve there that you see in the bottom edge. That's just a random sort of join line that we have between the leading edge of the roof there and the lower edge of the actual mask. And then the back windows you can see cut out there, and then the other cut out there is for where the main spar goes through, and a couple of other things. And finally, here's our new rack all put together, wheels on there and everything like that. So that was just basically, the material was all cut the other day to steel, and then it was just all welded up today. So happy with that, how that turned out. Anyway, that's our update for the first half of this week. Thanks again for watching.